Da-da-da-da-da-da.
During the game or pray during the
Charge.
I'm like trying to find
What's that?
like baseball.
Ba-da-da-da-da. No, what's
That's Jeopardy.
yeah. What's
What?
the da 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 da
Take me out of the ball game.
yeah, there you go. This is called Guess What Song Caitlin's gonna da-da.
I think there's probably only so many baseball songs you could do that to, though. Do you like baseball, Caitlin?
Swing, bada, 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 bada. Yeah, I do.
I'm so sorry.
You have an Outlook email.
I do. Well, we sent home field trip information
Oh,
today,
we
so
do.
I'm
Yeah.
sure
Where y'all going field tripping?
we're doing an in-house field trip on March 6th. And
In-house?
yeah, so our district has like these things called blackout dates. So like you can't take a field trip between like this date and this date. So we can't go anywhere. So we're having to get people to come to us to do like
Oh,
in-house field trip.
that's cool.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. They used to do it at my old school. Like the people that are coming came to Roswell. And so we're getting them to come. It's called Scaly Adventures. And so they bring like a bunch of critters. It's kind of like Critter Keeper, but more like,
They bring snakes.
yeah, not a fan.
Not
I
my
know.
field trip.
I was really like looking forward to holding the tarantula again this year because you know how to do that last year. And I like for whatever reason I'm like I would much rather hold the tarantula than a
not me.
snake.
No, I'd rather hold the snake.
Mm-mm.
I
can't.
I just would be sick that day and not show.
No, but but we're making it like a big like fun day, like not just scaly.
God, I thought that was a tarantula. Let me check my heart rate. Hold on.
Look, you just had this one hair that was
Yeah.
Anyways,
sticking straight up.
Now my whole head's itching. We gotta do 101.
anyways, we're making it like a fun day for them, not just that. She's like really stressed out.
Try to help somebody.
I cannot. Okay, baseball.
Well, you gotta do your opening.
And that was kind of the opening, I guess. The reason.
I thought that
What's the
That's charge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's for like jousting, isn't it? Like horse jousting. Charge.
No, they do that at baseball games.
Oh. When have you gone and watched? Oh yeah, I know where you went. You just saw jousting. They borrowed that from baseball. Yeah. No,
they sure didn't do that at the medieval times. They did not go do at the medieval times.
But
I can about guarantee you they didn't do it back in the day when jousting was a real thing.
Okay. I didn't know that.
What's the Braves one? Jousting. That's what we're talking about. Jousting.
I'm crying. I can't with the jousting.
Yeah.
We were gonna do some icebreaker warm up things. I think we've already kind of
baseball.
Yeah, girl.
jump into that.
You should, Danae.
Okay, we'll see.
Logan plays baseball.
Okay,
Also-
I'll do better.
Also, we're drinking coffee from Danae's Kitchen.
My iced coffee.
It's
cafe.
It's a new opening, and it'll close today.
Yeah. It opened and closed today.
In Pickens.
But we needed iced coffee.
And then I know it's delicious, and I want to drink the rest of it, but it's so late in the day today that I'm gonna be like looking at all my
Meanwhile,
walls
I'm over here with
tonight.
my straw like I love it.
I'm sipping lightly and telling myself, you don't need it. You're going to be up in the morning.
Will
Like,
it keep you up?
Until the morning. Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
No.
With me?
I'll be like the neighbor with the binoculars out the
If I
window at
don't
like 5 in the
drink it
morning.
around 3, I might as well. Just
Oh, I can drink that whole thing and be passed out at 10 o'clock tonight.
You won't stay awake? Girl, I'm going to get my whole house clean tonight with this. Just one cup.
Just, we can cut this part out, but does coffee ferment?
We're not cutting that out.
You know, like.
No, it's not going to bubble,
Okay.
but it might mold.
No, it won't mold. I've had it in the fridge.
How old is your cup?
It's really I'm just teasing y'all.
Well, y'all, we're going to need
Is that from your breakfast?
We're drinking this fossilized. We're drinking this fossilized coffee. when
Well,
my
I was thinking I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom like to pee every 5 seconds in church tonight, and now I'm a little worried it might be something different. I'm gonna have like an amoeba inside of here.
My weight loss plan.
we just started a cleanse.
You're way playing.
Coffee, get old. Get fridge.
I cannot. It shouldn't, right?
I mean,
Yes, coffee can get old, stale tasted after 3 or 4 days. Can lose
Okay,
its
we're good. We're fine.
yeah,
It's
but
just
it's
for
not
Monday.
gonna go bad. It's not lost its flavor. I had it today. It didn't lose its
I knew I was chewing on it a minute ago.
Did you know how they sell iced coffee in the things? It's like no different.
I was like, this is like coffee
Yeah.
chewing gum.
That's what I was
It's no
thinking.
different. That's
Yeah.
what I thought.
Unless
just
it was
get-
like made, unless they have some special thing.
Oh,
that, like,
y'all, my head's
It didn't have. It's straight coffee. There's no cream or anything in it.
Listen, I'm gonna have to send her up to you in the choir tonight. Like, she's gonna have to come sit beside you
Why?
because you're gonna be so jacked up on all this coffee.
Everybody that's been talking about Kayla and I
Crazy.
singing so
I'm
loud.
just kidding.
has been
I
like,
miss you
"Just
so
wait
much."
till our third partner gets here.
I don't know about that.
No, really.
We haven't.
I heard it last night.
Preacher brought it up again at dinner last night about
He
how
did.
loud we were, Brother Crapley.
Oh,
I just love how they're telling them. We got a whole nother loud
I have
night.
another one. There's one more. He's not been
I'm
here.
singing alto the whole night.
I've been not even gonna lie to you.
I'm gonna sing the guys part.
Don't look at me like that.
I'm gonna sing below everybody, and they're
There's
gonna be
been
like,
a bunch of
"Y'all
altos
lied to
missing.
me."
We had 6 soprano on Saved. I was
No.
It sounded good though. It
No,
sounded.
I
good.
got the eyes on save, so I did sing that part.
from Brent.
Yeah, I always get it when it comes to that.
7 of us.
It sounded like there was more.
Yeah, well.
Y'all's guardian angels kicked in.
I'm not a soprano. Just throwing that out there. Moving on. But
Instant season and out of season.
I mean, I was prayed up, but just not in the prayer room. You know, sometimes the prayer room gives you that little extra.
Oh
kick.
yeah, gives you a little extra boost.
Speaking of extra,
Anyways,
boost, baseball.
Let's see how much I know.
We should have just came up with baseball facts to ask Nate. That's what we should have done.
Anxious.
No, it's just a this or that.
Oh,
like you
okay.
just
Like
we love a this or that on the testimony drive.
yeah.
No,
Oh,
You know who
not
Babe
popcorn.
Ruth
Because I
was?
could know snacks.
Do you know who Babe Ruth was?
Logan did his report on him. And I printed pictures.
Nice.
He had a daughter.
That's cute.
He did not look like what I thought he would look like.
I'm proud of you.
What about
for
Billy
knowing that.
Sunday?
He was a preacher.
Who was a baseball player?
No way.
Oh yeah.
Was he really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Billy
Just
Sunday
some-
was a baseball player, and he got called to preach.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I don't know.
Everybody go do a little
Basic
Biology.
research.
biography study on Billy Sunday.
We're going to need to do biology too after we get done drinking this coffee.
You know,
Y'all
nervous.
right.
How old's the macchiato creamer?
No, that all new.
We're
All
ridiculous.
things are-
Okay, moving on. Okay. Walk up song or silent focus.
Walk up song.
Oh, same. They didn't have that when I played softball, and now it's
Okay, I have to walk up song if you're in like pros, I get, but like we go to this like 9U and they got walk up songs, and I'm like,
See, I'd bust out with something about going to hell. Like, you need to get saved.
whoa,
Like,
she is going to hell.
no, like,
I'll
Yeah.
send you to hell.
like get saved, so you don't gotta go to hell. Like use it as a witness moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like instead of like swing batter
Yeah.
batter, be like
well,
call him Jesus.
walk up songs are something serious. My brother one time changed his walk up song in the middle of a like game.
Oregon.
He changed his walk up song in the middle of the game, and he started doing bad. And my mom was like, change the walk up song back. Like, it's a real thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Anyways, moving on. Day games, or it says Friday Night Lights. It would
Night
be
games,
Friday.
because
yeah.
good night almighty, they play
Really?
all year round and you will melt.
But I will say,
I love a night game, but I honestly do when it's like 70 degrees and like springy rather than summery.
Well, spring,
like,
yeah.
Okay. Maybe not. Do you like dirt on your uniform or to keep it clean?
Dirt. And
I
you're
feel like
sliding
you'd be
into
like, keep it clean
bases.
so I don't have to get all the stains out.
well, it's just one of those things. It's like I will watch it, but I don't.
You yourself wouldn't want dirt on the.
Now, I would
You would be the person out there picking up the sand and playing with it.
No, pay attention. I just
She would be the one to run and be like, I'm not sliding.
Yeah,
I'm not sliding into
She
base.
would. Sorry, guys.
Could you move out of my way, please? I'm trying to get to that base head over there.
And also, can you imagine somebody chasing her with the ball?
I'm actually kind of fast.
She said,
Race after church right here. We're like,
Listen, I'm giving you a hard time.
girl, no. Big mama can't be racing that.
I'm not bad. No, listen,
That ain't going up my speed.
she probably is. She would be faster.
I know
than me. She
she's
works
fast.
out.
she works out.
I just be trying.
How
to
much
walk.
cardio do you do though, like running?
Well, right now I'm heavy weights though. I haven't
See, that's-
run in a while. I haven't run since before.
You know, I was at that marathon this past weekend. I was like, I could probably do that. Maybe I could probably like run a 5K this time next year if I
Oh,
train for it.
5Ks are
Look at
not
my
hard
face.
at all.
Probably not the marathon because Braxton still can't walk.
We're gonna have
but
to build up some endurance on this side of the
I
table.
would like to run a 5K though.
I ran
We did.
before Christmas. Just ran 10 miles one day. I had the time and I just
No.
ran.
I don't know about that.
So I was only short 3
I ran a 5K.
for a half.
And now, the time that we ran the 5K with the obstacle course,
That
and when
was
I ended
so
up,
fun. That
I want to do that again. But I was surprised.
I would probably die.
I was in the top
happy.
10.
Yeah.
So our vocabulary word today was panted.
Yep,
Be panted
I done that.
after something like that.
Panted. I needed
We-
oxygen.
Oh,
I would have to train tonight. I'm
We
out
didn't
of
train.
shape bad.
You
I
should have
did.
been
I trained for a couple of months for that.
you know you trained.
Okay, girl. You did it without training? Lord, I'm a chunky lady.
Doing?
Oh, my word.
I knew I would have to run.
No, I ran for months.
But I'll be honest.
and I started, like, in levels. So
when
I
it
would,
got
like,
to
run,
that
stop,
where
run,
you
stop.
had to like, I just like jumped, fell into the mud, and Army called because I knew that I
No.
cannot.
I have no
The one where
emotional
I had to
feet
jump
over-
onto the, that level, it was, like, up to here. And you had to jump up there.
Yeah.
I tried to throw my leg up. And I had a little old man that was running with me. He was so nice. And he was my
He was
buddy.
so nice.
I made a friend. And he was running with me.
Oh,
and
you
I
had to
tried to jump up there and throw my leg up and pull myself up. And I fell right back down. It was like this. Like my leg was here. And I was trying to like, and I was like, whoop! And I was like, he said, you could go around them, right? Because I tried it like,
I
well,
thought you
2 or
had to
3
do
times.
push-ups if you went around.
No, not in that one.
Oh.
That's not the Spartan you do.
Oh.
But he was like, you can go around it. And I was like, you know me, I'm like, no, I'm going to get it. And after I fell on and I couldn't breathe a couple of times after I fell, I was like, okay, Big Mama, go
Yeah, the
around
little
this.
monkey bar thing I couldn't do. I
did that
I
one.
did the first one and I dropped.
This
I
one
fell
was
in
the
mud.
platform up to the big net. You remember the big net? And you had to go
Yeah.
all the way to the top and then come back down?
Yeah.
Yeah, girl, I did it.
Dugout pep talk or post game reflection.
Ooh, pep talk. I can do a good pep talk. I mean, I've never done one, but I could.
I could take
I
one.
think you've done a lot of good pep talks.
Yeah.
Not in like base.
No, but just in
That's what I'm
general.
saying. I
You
feel
can
like
like transfer
pep
that.
talk. Yeah. Last question.
Kind of a good
We
one.
got plenty of good material in this one.
We're ridiculous.
Well, this has been a home run of an episode.
Okay.
The Lord helped us knock it out of the park.
Are you the type to argue? This is not on here. Are you the type
pitch
to
me your next
argue?
question. Throw me a curveball.
Are you the type to argue with the umpire?
She's asking you.
No, I'm asking
You.
I'm asking both of
You did
y'all.
point at me
I did, but
aggressively.
She
It was
was
like
like,
it
"Mommy."
arched into.
are you? I'm just trying to move this thing along. Are you? Who's the type to argue with the umpire?
No, I'm not the type to. Because I want to stay in the game. Like I don't want to get kicked out.
Oh, you had that one game.
What are you talking
That one game. I saw you at that one game.
What one game are you
That
talking
little
about?
kid
Where?
At that one game.
Where?
You and Missy both.
Where?
A little.
Well, no, that's because the coach. No, listen,
You're getting heated thinking
that
about it
was
right now.
because the coach told that was because the coach told what's the guy in front of the umpire that catches the ball? The
The ref.
no, that would be the
Come on.
umpire. The
Catcher.
the catcher, yeah, told him next time he busted up, like popped up with the ball, to elbow into the ump. That was what I was mad about.
That was rude.
Because he didn't like the way the ump was calling it. So he told the kid to like bust up backwards into it was very stupid. So it made me really agitated that time.
Well, I am the type to argue with the umpire.
Are you?
No,
Damn.
it just depends.
Oh, never me.
When we played, I always wanted to stay in the game. So even if I didn't like a call, I would say it to somebody else. Like I wouldn't say it to them because I didn't want to get ejected. I wanted to go in there and throw elbows at the person who I was aggravated.
But in Little League, you don't really get ejected that much. Oh, no.
Okay.
Not
So the reason why we're talking about baseball so
I know,
much
they're
today.
like, what?
So to this, you have jumped right in.
This chaotic
first.
mess over here.
But we got to talk to Preacher Shane Ezell and Miss Ashley Ezell. Preacher Ezell is the pastor of Ingleside Baptist Church. And as you'll hear in his testimony here in a little bit, he was a minor league baseball player for a short time. He was a pitcher. And they told me that he calls his testimony, he thought the Lord was saying pitcher, or he thought in his life it was going to be pitcher, but the Lord was saying preacher.
Yeah.
So that's who we got to sit down with and talk with them. And so that's why we're talking baseball, because their family now is a big baseball family.
What?
But their family now, like all three of their boys play baseball. And so it's just a little fun tie into them and their family. So
you will thoroughly enjoy this episode. So
let's go.
without further ado, here it is.
Well, y'all, we are here with Pastor Shane Ezell of Ingleside Baptist Church and his wife, Miss Ashley Ezell, and I love them dearly. And we're just going to be talking about y'all's testimony today and what the Lord's done in your life, done for you. So why don't we start there? Why don't we start about like where the Lord brought you from, getting saved, and all the good things?
We'll let Shane start.
Okay, I'll start. Of course, I grew up in church. Was very faithful at Chesney First Baptist as a child, and was in the youth group, was in all sorts of stuff. We were there every time that something was going on. It's just the way we were raised. Held on. I made a profession at Bible school. I was about 11 or 12. And I held on to that, through a lot of my teen years. Just always thought, everything was okay.
Mm-hmm.
And went through high school playing baseball. And, I got to be about 15 or 16, 17, those years, formative years, for some reason, baseball was just always a natural thing for me. And, it started to look at that point, like it could be a future.
Yeah.
And so, it's one thing for your friends or your family to tell you that it looks like it could work, but then when Clemson starts calling and Georgia and, the big colleges, and then...
So you were being scouted?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then you start talking, the Braves and the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers, and, it as a 16-year-old, that's a big deal.
He tells one story of them. He'd be out in the pool swimming with his friends, and his dad would stick his head out the door and say, "Shane, Ray Tanner from the Gamecocks is on the phone. He wants to talk to you." Or Lon Joyce from the Dodgers is calling. And Shane would be like, "Take a message. I'll call."
Yeah, or they want you to be at such and such college tomorrow to throw. So
wow.
I was like, okay. And it was just kind of pretty. It got to be kind of normal, So,
yeah.
That was going to be my life. And all through my teenage years, that's what I was going to do. I didn't put a lot of emphasis on school, didn't put a lot of emphasis on grades. Daddy was always like, "Shane, you need to find something to do with your life," and I always put it off because I was like, I'm going to play ball. I don't need to do anything else.
Yeah.
And so, went through all of that and was going to go play professionally. And then, Daddy didn't want that, didn't like that idea. So I ended up going to college, and went to college, got out from under his 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 authority, and
Yeah.
was really had too much freedom, to be honest, and got in a mess, drinking and drugs and different stuff, and so ended up, long story short, dropped out of college after the first year, and baseball.
One thing, you dropped out of college because you couldn't do public speaking. That's a funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now
Funny.
Yeah, don't forget that.
Funny.
Yeah.
That's the key thing.
He told his advisor, she said, you have to have public speaking to graduate. And he said, I'm not graduating then. I can't do
yeah,
this.
forget it.
Dropped
won't-
out.
It's not happening.
Did one class.
Wow.
And then
And now I public speak. The ironic part is
Yeah.
I public speak at least three times a week.
So you left college, however, and then what happened then?
That started a spiral, of alcohol and drugs and all that goes with it. And for about 8 years, it was a dark, dark chapter. And then, I had a DUI. I couldn't drive. I had some of my buddies from Mountain View, Trey and Ty Humphreys, would come by and pick me up and take me to eat with them, and stuff. We kind of lost contact through the years because they both got married out of school, and I went down this other path. And so, we started to reconnect some, and they were in church. I wasn't. They knew I wasn't. They knew I needed it, needed the Lord. And so they started to come pick me up and take me to do things, and then I started going to church with them.
Yeah.
And when I started going to church with them, for about the first 3 months, it was, old-fashioned church like we're used to now is, we love it. But I never was around it. I was raised in First Baptist Church where you didn't say a whole lot.
Yeah, yeah.
It was pretty, it was very
Dry?
Yeah. And it was just
Dead?
it was almost disrespectful to
Wow.
speak out in church. Anyway, so when I went to Mountain View and got involved around that, in that, old-fashioned, just shouting, preaching. It was, for the first 3 months, it was kind of amusing. It was kind of,
Entertaining.
yeah, it was entertaining.
Yeah.
And so I enjoyed it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I felt good because I was going to church, I was like, well, I like this. And then after about 3 months, the Lord kind of hemmed me up. Just let me know. Of course, I thought I was saved up until that point. And I went to a cookout one night and I was talking to Trey about it. And I said, look, man, there's something wrong with me at church. I'm guilty. I feel guilty. And I just don't feel right. I said, man, I didn't feel this bad when I wasn't in church. And we started talking. He started talking to me, and he's like, well, Shane, he said, what it boils down to is if you died right now, standing in my carport, you died. Where would you go, man? Would you go to heaven or would you go to hell? Do you trust that 11-year-old, 12-year-old experience, whatever it was? Do you trust that to get you to heaven? I was like, not really. I said, no, I really don't.
Yeah.
And so we talked. I kept going to church over the next couple of weeks, and finally it just got unbearable. I just couldn't take it anymore. And I went down to the altar one Sunday night and got saved, 26 years old. When I tell you the Lord changed my life, looking now, I'm 46 now, wife, 3 kids, pastor in the church. Incredible what the Lord's done, and it's all Him.
Yeah.
Because it's unrecognizable. You look back, this March, next month, will be 20 years.
Wow.
2006 to 2026, the Lord has, you can't even describe it. It's like Paul said, unspeakable gift. What He's done, I don't even recognize that old Shane.
Yeah.
From
So different.
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I don't even, looks probably different. Similar, but so different. Just a lifestyle that's so different. And so we give all the credit and all the glory to the Lord for that. And so,
Now, how did you grow up? How did you get saved?
I grew up total opposite. I grew up in Mountain View Baptist Church. Grew up in the old time, shouting, singing, praying.
No.
And I had made a profession, earlier when I was a child and thought that I had gotten saved. And I'll never forget it. He got saved March of 2026. I got saved December of 2005. Sorry, 2006 is when he got saved. I got saved the December before. So I'd only been saved 4 months before Shane got saved. But I'll never forget it. We were at church. I sat on the front row with my chairman of the deacon's father and my mom, who had served for years in the church. Preacher Griffith was preaching. I was going to read a Bible verse. He was preaching out of Isaiah 55, verse 1. And it says, Ho, everyone that thirsteth, come ye to the waters. And he that hath no money, come ye, buy and eat. Yea, come, buy wine and milk without money and without price. And he was preaching on being saved. Like, there's nothing that you can bring to the table.
Some things money can't buy.
Some things money can't buy was the title of the message. And there's nothing that I am a type A personality. I was then, I still am. I was the annoying kid in class, the self-proclaimed nerd. I knew the answer, like, pick me, you know. And I had an extremely good head knowledge of the Bible. I had an extremely good biblical, doctrinally sound mind.
Right.
Like, I knew all the right answers. I could show you where to find it in the Bible. I could walk somebody else through the Romans road. But the Lord come to me that day, and he said, it was December 11, 2005, Sunday morning service, and he said, are you going to ride your daddy's coattails into hell? Wow. Like, are you going to ride this old-time religion? I didn't have a personal relationship with Christ. I had a head knowledge. Went to Christian school. I'd already graduated by that point. I was in college, and I knew all the right answers, but there was no personal relationship. And I remember arguing, sitting there in the pew and arguing with myself, like, what's everybody going to think? They're going to think you're crazy, you know, like you. And I could not stand it any longer. I felt like, and I think most people do, I felt like that may have been the last time the Lord would ever deal with me, if I would not have given in, if I would have relied on my head knowledge and not my heart, not the relationship, then I feel like I would not have gotten saved. And the Lord, I went to the altar and prayed, and the Lord changed my life. Not so much an outward change, because I was already had the standards. I was already in church 3 times a week. I was already dressing right, living right, didn't drink, didn't smoke. But the inside relationship changed. There was a desire to seek the Lord. You know, it was no longer the head knowledge, but it was the head and the heart knowledge, and it was the personal relationship with Christ that changed.
You know, some people, they say, well, you know, because the testimonies are so vastly different, right? And there's the lives that the Lord changed and moved were so different. You know, some people, especially kids that grow up in church and that are around this, like so many of us have been, they'll be like, well, my testimony's doesn't really matter. It's not really anything to say anything about because I didn't have huge changes but it is important. Both are important to see how the Lord works in each individual's life. I mean, what would you say, either one of you, to maybe that person that's on either side of the story, you know, about coming to Christ? It's not really about where you come from. It's just getting to Him. You know, what would you say to that kid in church that struggles with that? I made a profession, but I don't really have a relationship.
You need to make sure that it's not just a head knowledge. Like, if you were the church kid, you know, being at all the revival meetings, at all anything that the church was having, we were involved in. And if you are that kid, you better make sure that it's a heart relationship, that it's not just a head knowledge. Like, you need to make sure that Christ is yours personally. And that makes all the difference. There's a difference in knowing Christ died on the cross for the world. There's a difference in knowing He died on the cross for the world, and He died on the cross for me. And when you get a grip on He didn't just die for the world, He died for me. And that's something, and you and I talked about it recently, still struggle with the faith aspect, you know, like, Lord, you really care about me? You know, like little old me, like I'm so unworthy, and I'm so failing every day.
And preacher, what about you? Like, if somebody in the church has a loved one that's out in the world, or in that, you know, they've gone a different path than others around them, what's the best way that we could draw them in to be loved, like Trey and Ty did for you? You know, you weren't looking for the Lord, but He sent somebody into your life that pulled you back to Him.
Right. And the thing about Ty and Trey in particular is they're so genuine. Like, they genuinely cared. And I think that's where we miss it a lot of times. In fact, I was preaching Wednesday night about, you know, there's a balance in we want to be holy, and I strive to be holy and have the standards and keep, you know what I mean? But then there's a mercy that I think we miss sometimes, and You know, I was just telling the church that I come up here, when I first got here, I was holiness, 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 you know, just preaching truth, and which I still do.
Yeah.
But as you get down the road a little ways, you know, I want the Lord to see more of a balance, not just holy standards, but loving people and caring about sinners. And that's what Trey and Ty, they come to my house and, you know, they'd take me to eat, and you know, we were in different places. I was out in the world. They had their kids and all in church, and so we were in vastly different places in life. But they loved me. You know, they just cared about me, and they would come by, check on me, text me through the week, you know, and I think that's a lot of what we miss sometimes when dealing with folks that are not in church or have been in church and are out of church. And I really want to try to do better personally with that side of it. And, you know, it's and as far as, you know, the relationship, it's just, you know, it's a personal, you can't. And I was talking to a guy the other day, and I was trying to, you know, explain to him. He's asking me this stuff about being saved and what it, you know, the ins and outs of it. And I was like, man, it's a personal relationship. I've got a relationship with my wife. I've got a relationship with my kids. It's a different relationship, but it's still a relationship. And I said, I've got a relationship with the Lord. You know, if I'm in my house by myself, he's there. If I'm driving down the road, he's there. And I talk to him, and we fellowship together. And it's a personal thing. And he, you know, he's trying to grasp it, and he's trying to make it tangible. And he said, you know, I've heard you preach several times, you know, he said on sermon audio, and then I heard you before at your church, and you talk about like a prayer closet. And he said, and this is just, you know, it's funny to us because we're familiar with it, but he's just grasping. And he said, you know, I live in this camper by myself. And he said, do I need to build a closet to pray in? And I'm like, no, man. No, what the Lord's saying is just get away from the world. Shut the world out and talk to him and fellowship with him. And so, you know, it's amazing sometimes we take for granted what we know about walking with him every day and what that looks like. But the world they don't know that. And so, you know, it's a reading your Bible, it's praying, it's making time. Because here's what I've found out, and I'm sure y'all have too, is, you know, the devil's not going to make it easy to fellowship with him. No. He's not going to give you, he's not going to roll out opportunities for you to read your Bible. Right. You know, you're going to have to find them. You're going to have to make them. And, you know, I think that's important. That kind of stuff is to have a personal walk, daily walk with him.
I mean, I know y'all have seen it. Christians who do that and prioritize that and make those moments happen, it changes churches. It changes communities. It changes, you know, all kinds of lives to have Christians that actually love the Lord and want to serve him in that way and be different, be a different people, separated and, you know, unique, that when somebody sees you, they know like, hey, you're different. What's going on with you? You know? So y'all got saved under the same church, same ministry. Did y'all know each other before then?
No.
My mom kept him in preschool when he was like 3 and 4 years old, and his dad coached my dad in football. So our families kind of each other through the community like for years, but you know, as far as us knowing each other, he was building the new Krispy Kreme building in Spartanburg while I was working at the old one across the street.
Ooh,
Didn't
but
know
I didn't know that. Yeah, we had no idea. We didn't even know each other then, but we've since found out. We've kind of been in the same area, you know, a few times, but
cross paths, but not. So how did that all happen? How did y'all happen?
He got saved, and I went through the line. He loves to tell the story that I went through and like batted my eyelashes at him and
I just
said,
told it Sunday.
glad you got saved. And I said, don't flatter yourself. I did not
Well,
do
first
that.
her mama come first through the line.
That's how he pictured it.
Yeah.
Wanted it to
He
go.
remembers it. I don't remember it that way.
Yeah, and so I
remember him getting saved with his holy pants on, his holy khaki pants, and like his back was showing. He was feeling
you know,
at the altar.
preacher
That's what I remember.
made me stand at the communion.
Yeah.
Everybody come through, and this lady come through. She said, "Shane Ezell," and hugged my neck, and she said, "You don't remember me, do you?" I said, you know, I know the face maybe." And she said, I kept you at Sunshine Preschool when you was a very little kid. So anyway, talked to her husband, Kyle. I knew Kyle. I had seen him around, just here and there. Didn't know him personally, but I shook his hand anyway. Yeah. She come through. I don't know. Was you with them or later?
I don't remember.
Anyway, she come through. I didn't put her with for whatever reason. I was thinking she was maybe later in line. But anyway, she come through, batted her eyes, the whole deal.
Through that.
Glad you got saved.
Yeah.
And I was like, me too. But I went back and told Trey, I said, I think I just met my wife up there in line. He said, you're kidding me. He said, who was it? I said, is that brown-headed girl?
Yeah.
He said, good luck with that, man. That's Kyle Atkins' daughter.
He tells the story now. Trey said, oh, Lord, you going to ruin the church? You going to split the church before we even get started?
Yeah, please, no.
You need to be saved a little longer.
Give it some time.
Yeah.
Give it some time.
We need to make sure this sticks.
Yeah.
Make sure.
First order of counsel.
We went out to eat with him and Nikki like a few months ago, and he was telling us, we laughed so hard because he said, I literally was like, oh, Lord, this is going to go really bad, really bad.
He went to his prayer closet quick.
Yeah.
Trey to the rescue again, praying.
He was like, Shane, we just wanted you to get saved, man. We didn't want you to do all this.
We didn't want you to try to date somebody.
You're like, I don't go halfway. We're all in. Right?
And 10 months later, we were married.
Wow.
So, we laugh now, too, because he asked my dad if he could marry him. You tell that story, what he made you do.
Yeah, he was
and
washing his car.
And I can't believe he did. I had no idea.
He was washing his car one night. I said, I need to talk to you about something. He said, what is it, son? I said, I'm praying about giving Ashley a ring, but I want to make sure it's all right with you. And he said, get in the car. And,
Oh, yeah, I know.
Okay.
This is
yes, sir.
Maybe not good. So we went riding around. What we were doing, I guess, is drying the car off his, finished washing it. We rode for several miles. Never mentioned
He never said a word.
He never said yay or nay.
He's going to make you ask again.
Never brought it up.
He's kind of stoic anyway.
Yeah.
We got out of the car back at the house. He said, let's pray about this, son. We don't want to decide anything right now. I said, okay.
Now, how long was this after you had gotten saved?
This was probably like October, November. No, we got
6
engaged in
months.
October.
Probably
so this
6
was probably
or 7
like August,
months.
September. Because he didn't give him an answer for over a month.
Yeah, longer than that. Yeah, he didn't
He
answer.
left it.
And I was over there.
They were around each other.
Yeah, I would go in the house, sit down, eat supper, see him
Papa
at church,
Kyle.
ride in the
word.
car. He never mentioned it.
That's so
For
funny.
But he
months.
made you write
He said, I want you to write a paper on where you see yourself in 5 years.
27 years old, 26 years old.
And it's like,
This all lines up, though.
Listen,
So
I'm
your
gonna
daddy.
we're going to need a podcast with that
You need
man.
to bring
Oh, we
Kyle
got-
in.
I've got a
Oh,
son,
yeah.
I've got a daughter, and that's
Yep.
the advice I need.
Him and Grana. We got to get him
We
and
need
Grana.
D. Kyle to be sitting right here.
Yeah.
for this thing.
Yeah.
so I wrote the paper.
He
where
did. He wrote
where
it.
I
My
saw
daddy
myself.
still has it on
He's
his
got it.
tagboard in his office. And for the record, preaching wasn't anywhere in the paper. He wasn't called to preach.
So that's a good segue. Y'all get married, finally.
February 10th.
He finally tells you you can marry her.
2007, Yes.
Yeah.
And
We just
how many years
celebrated
ago was that
19
now?
years.
No,
19
I
years.
thought it was close to 20.
Last week. Yep.
Wow.
So from there, you weren't called to preach before you got married. So how did the Lord start working that out?
Well, we just talked about this recently. Is when I got saved, I got saved, and of course my life was changed. I was made a new creature, but there's more than that. And I didn't know at the time what it was. I didn't know what to call it. I didn't know any of that. Mm-hmm. I just knew that my world was changed. I'm going to heaven now. This is tremendous. What in the world? And so
He couldn't understand why everybody else in the church didn't want to go to every revival within a 50-mile radius. Every
You were
night of the
hungry,
week.
starving to death.
Like
so I started going.
it's like, what's wrong with you people? Sammy Allen is preaching. Here, let's go.
I would go to meetings by myself. I'd meet
Charles
people.
Worley was the first revival after he got saved, and he loved Brother Worley.
Yeah, I loved it. And so it was just a whole new life. And so, I knew looking back now, I look back and I know this now. I didn't know what it was at the time, but I know. And I knew then that I wasn't going to be able to just sit, you know, just be saved and be a church member. I just knew that wasn't going to happen. I knew I was going to be doing something. And I always thought it was evangelism, you know, I was going to go around, preach, whatever. Look, before I started pastoring.
And you were construction, like he had started since baseball fell through, when all that, and he started spiraling out of control, he started doing construction work. And that's another thing, I don't just say this because he's my husband, that's another thing that comes very natural for him. Moving dirt, any kind of motor grader, he won't tell you this, bobcat, bulldozer, he's the best. Like he had people calling.
That's a strong word, best.
I think he's
You're
the
good at
best.
what you do.
I think he's the best. He's had people call and want him specifically, like to do a job.
I just enjoy it.
He's very good at it.
Yeah.
He's very good at construction work too.
So
Which is a rough field. Like people,
Right.
It's feast your
a lot of
family.
people,
Right.
yeah.
And it's not a Christian
But
environment.
that's kind of what I was
usually.
going
Right,
for. Like
Right.
it's kind of like linemen, you know, with Dad. And
So,
them.
funny story saying that. I was working out of town when I got saved, and I started reading the Bible in the motel room. A bunch of rough guys. And it's
They couldn't
crazy.
understand from the week before to the week after
what
he got
happened to you?
saved. Like,
And
you
I
know,
say,
what is
I got
this?
saved, man. And I don't know I don't know how to explain that to you. I just know the Lord saved
Something's
me.
different,
And
yeah.
there's something different. And so I started reading the Bible, and what's amazing is I'd start reading the Bible in the motel room, and they're drinking, they're smoking, you know, doing drugs. And now I'm sitting in there with my New Testament reading, and one of the guys said, all of them went somewhere one night. I remember this distinctly. One of the guys stayed one night, the rest of them went out to eat, whatever, and his name was Teddy. I'd love to run into Teddy today.
Yeah.
I have no idea how that would ever happen, other than he watches podcasts. But anyway,
I'm gonna share it.
I was sitting there reading
Yeah.
John. I remember it like it was yesterday. He said, Shane, what you reading? I said, I'm reading about Jesus and John. He said, I'm fixing to run out of here. He said, could you
ahead.
read it out loud? He said, I've never heard that. Read it out
He'd
loud.
never heard it.
And I literally started reading the Bible in the motel room with pot smoke filling the room. Started
been saved
reading the
long.
Bible.
Wow.
Bud Lights, whatever, sitting
Yeah.
around the motel. I'm reading the Bible out loud to Teddy in this motel room.
Preaching your first message right there.
Unbelievable. And you know, it's just amazing. It's all the Lord. Ain't no way in the world.
And another thing that was so drastically different is Shane's level of alcoholism. He had he was an alcoholic. And they told him,
Stage 4.
stage 4 alcoholic. You'll never be able to function without some type of alcohol in your system. You won't be able to lead a normal life without some type of alcohol in your system.
Yeah, and they told me at the of course I had to go to some of the drug addiction things, the classes, when I got my DUI, that's part of getting your license back is going through all of that reinstatement through the ADSAP classes and all. So they told me there, they have professional people come in and deal with you.
Oh yeah.
And they told
Yeah,
me there,
that's
they said, Shane, you're stage 4. They said, you'll never be able to quit this. And I know you want to, but you'll never be able to fully quit. What you're going to have to do is learn how to incorporate it and still function.
Like stay below the legal limit.
Wow.
Where you can work a job.
And just
Like
cope,
you're gonna have to-
basically. 'Cause
Yeah.
your body,
Just turn over a new leaf and
Almost like as a
figure
medication.
something
Oh, yeah.
Like medicating
Yeah.
yourself with it.
and obviously the Lord had other ideas about,
It's been, 20 years?
yeah.
20 years in March. So
Yeah.
so he can do it. And only
Yeah.
he can. And that's my message to everybody that I run into that struggles with that. It's not a 12-step program. It's a 1-step program.
Yeah.
I took 1 step toward Jesus, and he fixed all of that. And it sounds so simple and so easy, and I think sometimes it's too easy for some people, but that's the answer.
Yeah.
And so
he said, was it Sunday or last week? He said, if I put flyers out and put the word out in the community that Jesus was going to be here Sunday, and for $1,000 you could go to heaven. He said people would be scraping together everything they could get, and they
Selling
would be
whatever they
lined
got.
out the door for miles to get that $1,000 to go to heaven. Like, it's so complicated for people to accept
That it's
that it's a free
Yeah.
a free gift. There's nothing you can do to earn it. There's nothing that you can do
Yeah.
except give your heart and life to Christ.
Man.
So, you know, I had that going on, to go back to the original question,
Yeah.
how all of that happened, is I had all that turmoil inside of me about what I know now as a call to preach.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what it was then.
Yeah.
And so I'm reading books, I'm reading the Bible. The Lord, it's amazing. The Lord starts, you know, I'd read chapters in the Bible and start outlining them in my mind. And I didn't know how to do that. You know, I never done that before. I just got saved.
You skipped public speaking. You didn't know what you were doing.
No, yeah, this
So I'm
is not a
starting-
public speaker.
I'm starting to come up
Outlining them.
with alliterated outlines, and I didn't even know how to do an alliterated outline. And so I write these outlines down. Well,
Yeah.
you know, people get me to teach Sunday school. Come give your testimony, whatever. And I would start giving my testimony in an alliterated outline and teaching a Sunday school class with an alliterated outline.
And I'm going,
That's just how the
don't say
Lord.
that out loud.
That's just how
Don't
the Lord
talk about
does it.
it out
Amy.
So
loud.
one
Don't
day,
say it. Don't
we're
mention
going down the road, and I said, I need to talk to you about something. She said,
no,
what?
you don't.
You already knew,
No,
didn't
you
you?
don't. Yeah.
You were seeing it.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
I said-
my goodness.
I think the
I was
Lord's,
ignoring it.
I think the Lord's calling me to preach. He wants me to do something.
Yeah.
She said, no, you don't. You don't know what you're getting into. You
You
just
don't
got saved.
understand. Like,
You don't
I
understand."
cannot be a preacher's wife.
So how long was this after y'all had gotten married?
A year.
Yeah,
So
about a year.
you've been
About a
saved
year.
almost 2 years at that point.
So I went to my pastor. I said, I think
He
I'm
said
being
the
called
same
to
thing.
preach. He said, oh, no.
No.
He said, I was afraid of that. And I said, oh, no.
You're
So
afraid
what have
of
I
it.
done? I thought this was a good thing.
Yeah, yeah.
He said, don't tell anybody. Whatever you do.
He said, try to do anything else you
He
can
said,
do.
if you can do something else, do it.
And there's so much wisdom in that.
Yeah.
Looking
Yeah.
back
Yeah, yeah.
now,
I've heard
there's
a
so
lot
much
of people say
wisdom in that.
He said, don't tell anybody. I want this between me and you and the Lord. We'll pray about it. You do what he wants you to do, but let's make sure that you're doing it for him, and
Right.
we're not pressured from other places. I said, okay. So that went on. Still wrestling this. I wrestled it and wrestled
I
it.
just didn't talk about it.
Then I went to Kyle. I said, Kyle, I need to talk to you. He said, what is it, son? I said, I think the Lord's want me to preach. He said, oh, my goodness. No, don't do it.
He said, I
Don't,
was
son.
Don't do it.
Keep working. I was like, good night. What is this, a curse?
I know. He's like,
And anyway, long story short, after a year and a half of wrestling that,
wow.
in 2008, was it 2008?
2008, New Year's Eve, you preached your first message.
I surrendered.
But
on a
I
Su- on-
had to come to terms with it too. Like, I had to know.
Yeah.
I surrendered on a track hoe.
He
working.
surrendered a long time before I did.
Squalling, bawling my eyes out. Lord, I'll do it. I'll do whatever. I'll say whatever. I'll go anywhere you tell me what to do. Mm-hmm. Squalling. And I didn't tell nobody that. But that was me and him
Yeah.
in a machine one day at work. So then later, on a Saturday night, I remember I broke it to her in the kitchen. I said, look, I told you what I thought was happening. Now I'm done. I give in to him. I surrendered. I'm going to do whatever he wants me to do, whatever that means.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. I'm sick of this. I can't fight this anymore. Anyway, so I surrendered I told her on Saturday. Sunday, I told the church. The next day.
Yeah.
Preacher said, I want you to tell the church what.
Because internally, while he's dealing with all that, the Lord's dealing with me.
Yeah. Because I was going to ask, like, the Lord's, calling
Made
you.
it crystal clear to him, and I'm
Yeah.
over here like, hold on, like, that.
Yeah.
And like I said, goes back to being a type A personality. I like a plan. I got all my eggs
A,
lined
B, and
out.
C, and
I got
maybe
my
a D
apples in
plan.
my cart. Like I don't like. I'm a creature of habit. I don't like change. I don't like.
Unknown.
And I don't want to say not having control. I don't like not having control.
Yeah, yeah.
Or not feeling like not submission,
Right.
but not being able to
The unknown.
the
of
unknown,
that. Yeah.
the unknown. And the Lord, if we get to Maddox, but the Lord
Yeah.
has, grown me tremendously through that. But the Lord was working on me, and I had to come to a place of submission. The Lord didn't call me to preach; He called me to follow Shane.
Right.
And I had to come to the point where I trusted, his call and the Lord. I know the repercussions of not doing what the Lord's called you to do. I
Yeah.
know what happens if you run from the will of the Lord. So I don't say I had to surrender, but I had to surrender. Like
Yeah.
I had to.
Because that early in a marriage, you're already thinking like, these are my plans.
Right.
These are
Like
my
we had
marriage
discussed our
life
life and
Yeah.
what our future looked like, and
Well, we
that
bought
was
a house,
nowhere in that.
and-
That was nowhere in that. Like, preaching was nowhere in that for me. So it was kind of a hard.
Yeah.
Did the Lord give you a verse or a sermon or a message that really helped solidify that submission, not just to your husband, but to the Lord's plan for your life? Was there a time, almost like he had that aha moment where he knew the
I
Lord?
remember. I
Tell
don't
us
remember
about that.
specifically, but I do remember having in myself saying, and now I can look back at it, and I've heard Brother McNeese preach, and it still tears me up. But I remember the Lord called my husband to take care of his bride, and so the Lord's going to take care of me if he's taking care of his bride. Like, it's a full circle. Like, if I submit, and I submit to his calling, and I submit to what the Lord wants him to do,
Yeah.
if he's taking care of the Lord's bride, the Lord's going to take care of me as Shane's bride.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like it all goes hand in hand.
Beautiful.
And how
I've never
the
heard
Lord-
that. That's beautiful.
The Lord's going to and watch after my kids. You know, as a young married couple, and that's another thing. Like, we had gotten married. Shane's 8 years older than me. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we touched on that. When he asked me for my phone number, he told this story Sunday too. He come up to me at Miss Lynn's birthday dinner. I'll never forget it. It was like in April. He hadn't been saved hardly a month, and he asked me for my phone number, and I was like, yeah, no. Like, I said, do you know how old I am? And he said 18 or 19. I said, do you know how old you are?
That sounds about right.
He said, I'm 26. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to have to ask my daddy. Because, like, I already knew. Like, my daddy,
Yeah.
you've been a prayer request. Like, the whole church has been praying for you for like 3 months. Like, my
They
daddy,
just got you off the board.
yeah, like, no. Like, my daddy is not going to go for this. Like, you know, and I was a good kid. Like, I mean, I
Yeah.
was.
You're a rule follower.
By that point, I had gotten saved, and I knew, like, if my daddy said no, and then after we started dating, he didn't understand at the time, but I said, you know, if Dr. Robbins says, like, I can't date you, or Preacher Griffith says I can't date you, then I can't date you. Like,
Yeah.
that's tough. I remember one time I had brought a guy to church before me and Shane met, and Dr. Robbins said, where you go to church, son? And it was just a guy. This was the first time I wasn't allowed to, like, go. So my daddy said he can come to church with you. First time he'd come to church with me, Dr. Robbins come up and said, where you go to church? And he said something Lutheran, and I didn't even know this yet. We had just met.
Oh, no.
He turned around to my daddy and he said, get rid of him, Brother Kyle, get rid of him. And I remember thinking, like, oh, well.
Can I just insert right
That's
here? We need more of that kind of boldness
Yes.
in our churches.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
They're
To
coming in to
save
get our young
relationships.
people, and you say, out of here.
But here's the thing,
You can
too.
sit on
Our
the
young
pew, but
people need to
yes.
be that in tune with their parents.
Yes.
Like, we need to get off of Facebook and TikTok and
Yeah.
Snapchat and quit worrying about what they think
Yeah.
and start worrying about what our pastor thinks and start worrying about what
You're
our
right.
parents think.
Yeah.
Because I remember looking at him being like, oh, well, like,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah. Like,
You
you
can sit
but
on the pew,
also,
but we're not
this is
dating.
fun.
But also
Yeah.
that your daddy, like, you knew he had those standards. You knew
Right.
he had those, like, that ain't gonna fly. You know, like, you
oh,
just,
yeah.
it wasn't a question of whether it would be something that he would teeter on
And
or
I
not.
feared the
you know?
Lord before I got saved, and I feared Kyle Atkins. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like,
There's nothing
I
wrong with
feared
that.
my dad.
Yeah.
I feared the Lord, and I feared.
I still get nervous with mine.
Yeah, right. Like, but
He
then
might
when
try to
Shane
set me
come
straight
around
now.
and I said, like, you know, if the preacher says I can't date you, like, you know,
Yeah.
But the Lord, looking back now, and we think like, gosh, that was crazy, but the Lord had given them peace,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't know. You know, 10 months, a new Christian, he's still a baby in Christ.
Oh, yeah.
I hadn't been
Oh,
saved
yeah.
super long, and we got married in February, so a month before he'd even been saved a year. Mm-hmm. But the faith that it took to do all that, I digress.
I mean, it's just that the Lord had done that and brought y'all to that place where you both surrendered to that.
And
that
19
ministry.
years later, like, looking back down the road, I can pinpoint, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, at the
Yes.
time, I didn't acknowledge it for what it was.
Yeah.
But looking back now, I can definitely pinpoint.
Yeah. So when so you both now in your life, you both surrendered to the Lord's call.
I surrendered on a Sunday,
Okay.
and preacher called me at lunch that day.
To preach
That
that
lunch.
night, wasn't it?
No, I surrendered Sunday morning, told the church. The Lord called me to preach. Mm-hmm. We left, went to grandmother's to eat. Preacher called Kyle, or either called grandmother's landline, one. Anyway, wanted to talk to me. I answered. He said, you're preaching Wednesday night. I said,
That
this
was New
Wednesday.
Year's Eve, wasn't it?
It would have been New
New
Year's
Year's
Eve.
Eve.
I remember that.
One other funny story that he tells too is before you surrendered, Sammy Allen was preaching at Calvary Baptist Church in Chesney, which was like you could throw a rock from where we lived, where our house was, and hit the church. And he said, I'm going to go to church tonight. I said, okay. I had to work late. Like, I don't think I got home till late. So he went on to the service. And you tell what Brother Sammy Allen said. He hadn't surrendered to preach. He had mentioned it to me, and I'd kind of said, like, like, I don't think so.
Was that the youth meeting that he had them boys run out around the church?
Yes.
That was the week.
Was that?
Different service.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we were in that service, and it was me, Shane Jackson was there, Matthew Morgan was there, 2 other pastors. Them 2 were pastoring at the time.
Yeah.
I was just saved.
Freshly saved.
Freshly saved.
Freshly married.
And I was sitting in the service with him, and Brother Allen, he's just Brother Allen.
Preaching, yeah.
He said, all right, I got some Bibles I want to give out. He said they got the Faith Baptist Camp in the front of them, the little pamphlet.
Yeah.
He said they're calf skin, they're nice Bibles, Of course, I can't say it like he did, but he said, yeah. He said, I'm going to give these out to some of these preachers, some of these young preachers. He said, I got 3 of them. He said, Brother Jackson, you come on and get you a Bible. He went up and got his. He said, Brother Morgan, I saw you back there somewhere. Come get you a Bible. And he said, young man, you come here. Pointed to me. And I was like, come on, young man. What are you doing? He said, no, you, come here. Come here, son. And I went up there. And he said, here's your Bible. And I said, well, thank you, preacher, man. I love that. He said, you're going to need that if you're going to preach. Wow. I said, I'm
Shane
not.
said I kind of leaned to him because he didn't want to tell everybody.
Yeah, I said, I'm not called to preach, preacher. He said, you're going to need that Bible to preach, son.
Wow.
And so,
He told him 2 or 3 times. He kept saying, he said he finally looked at him and said, you're going to need that Bible if you're going to preach. Wow. What?
Yeah, and so I got it today in my desk.
Man, those old time preachers, just that discernment they had back then.
Yeah.
And you miss it.
Yeah.
A lot to them.
Now that same week, he called us up there, a bunch of young preachers up there, and he said, y'all go out in the parking lot while I'm preaching in here. Y'all go preach and run in the parking lot. Preach to people on the street.
Yeah, we were there. Like, our youth group was on the front row.
Really?
And he sent them outside and was like, go run around the parking lot, shout and preach.
Like, okay.
Let's go.
But I think too, it goes back to that submission to authority, but too, just crucifying that flesh. That embarrasses your flesh to go out and do that. And there's something to be said for that, for someone that'll obey the man of God and then to put their flesh behind them. And
there's a reward that comes with that will only come through that, through embarrassing your flesh and following after what seems foolish
to the world,
to humans and to the world, but the Lord honors that spiritually. Yeah.
So from there, and I know you kind of pinpointed and trigger warning here for any listeners.
8 years older than me, so he was ready to start a family. Like, he was ready to have children. I was 19, and I was kind of like, let's wait a little bit. But we ended up having 2 miscarriages. We had our first miscarriage, and the second one was an ectopic pregnancy, and I ended up losing right tube, right ovary. They told us we may not ever have children. Ruptured. I almost died. During surgery, they said I was bleeding so much internally that if I would have done that for 30 more minutes, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And so a lot of scar tissue, a lot of damage. And so we had prayed about having children. We wanted children, and had Braden, and that's our oldest. He's 15 now. And then with Maddox, and I'll go back and touch on some of that was hard. The devil will beat you up when you're sitting in a waiting room. You're trying to serve the Lord. You've come to these points of submission along the way, and you know that you've lost your baby, and you see people in there that
don't care.
Yeah. That are maybe not living a Christian life, and you can tell from whatever circumstances, whatever. The devil will really get in your head with some of that stuff, and
that's a lot of mental battle too.
A lot of mental battle, a lot of mental struggle. Like, here we are trying to do right and live right, and
How could the questions that probably how could he do that? You've given him your life. How could
One
he,
time, and then the second time, like that was the hardest for me. Like, okay. And that was so traumatic on me physically. Like, that was a lot. And then they tell you, like, you may not have children. And so we had Braden. And they told us with Braden, we had our anatomy ultrasound, and they told us that he had Down syndrome. So they sent us to the maternal fetal medicine. Yeah. They wanted to do the
tests.
What's the thing where they draw the fluid out and test it? And we said no. Like we said, no, if he comes out. He had 5 or 6 markers. He had hydroencephaly. He had kidneys. His kidneys wasn't right. They said he had club feet. Like all of this, I can go back and find those ultrasounds. Wow. He had all these markers for Down syndrome. And so we started preparing, like, okay, like we lost our first 2 children. They told us that Braden had Down syndrome. And so we prayed, like, and didn't really follow up or, like I still went to my appointments and stuff, but we really just kind of left it in the Lord's hands. And he was perfectly healthy.
Wow.
He was born 10 fingers, 10 toes, no club feet. Like, that's the first thing I asked Shane. I was like, what do his feet look like? Yeah. They had told us that he had club feet. And he ended up being perfectly fine. And so then, fast forward 3 years, we was trying to have another baby and got pregnant with Maddox. And we waited, like with Maddox, and this is so against my personality, because I'm type A personality.
Right.
I like a plan. And it was my idea, and I had to convince him to wait and find out what he was. Yeah. I didn't want to know. Like, I thought, and I hate surprises. That's so out of the norm.
So much, though.
It's so out of the norm for me.
Yeah.
That is so out of my character. Is to be like, listen, he looked at me like I was crazy. He was like, what, like, what is wrong with you?
It's because there's very few things in our life that catch us by surprise.
Yes.
And that's one thing that if we can plan enough to not know
I knew
and still get an element of surprise.
Right. I knew that I had enough baby stuff for Braden.
I
like
understand
I can get a few generic outfits, and if it's a girl, then we waited and had my baby showers after he was born.
Yeah.
Like I had a diaper pounding where they brought diapers and gift cards, and we waited till after he was born to find out what he was. So anyway, we decided, we made this decision, so excited. We went to the ultrasound. Braden was with us, super excited, and they had already made me go back to maternal fetal medicine for the 21-week.
Because you'd already had some issues.
So we're there, they're doing the ultrasound, everybody gets kind of quiet, don't say anything, and I'm looking around, Braden's in there, so they're real, and I can tell something's not right. Yeah. So they finally, I laid there, they went and got I can't remember if it was Dr. Vermillion or Dr. Lay, who was the main doctor there. They went and got the doctor. He come in. He goes out in the hall. He comes back with Dr. Lay or Dr. Vermillion. Both the doctors come in, and I'm like, okay, something. By this point, it's been like an hour and a half. Braden's getting very restless. So Shane's like, he called my mama. My mama ends up coming to the ultrasound. Shane ends up taking Braden home, trying to keep everything normal for Braden because he just wanted to see baby brother.
Yeah.
Or baby. He didn't know if it was a brother or sister. So Dr. Vermillion, Dr. Lay, they go out in the hall. Nobody's really telling me anything. They call Dr. Scardo out of surgery, like he was in surgery. So these are the 3 main doctors. I don't know who's there now because Cole's like 10. Like I hadn't had any babies in 10 years. So Dr. Vermillion, Dr. Lay, Dr. Scardo, they're all there. And they're all like talking. They can't figure something out about his heart. The baby's heart is not right. So they call Dr. Malpass, who is a pediatric cardiologist through Greenville, and he comes in, and Dr. Malpass is in there, and he's scanning, and he says they can't get the candy cane shape, like your aorta makes candy cane shape. I ended up laying on that ultrasound table for 3 hours. It was over a 3-hour anatomy scan. And Dr. Malpass, they said I was going to have to deliver in Charleston because the baby may need emergency open heart surgery. Ended up, Dr. Malpass cleared us and said that we were fine to deliver in Spartanburg, said all 4 chambers, like he went through and looked at every other marker. All 4 chambers are functioning fine. She can have this baby in Spartanburg. We'll just keep a close eye. If the baby has to be life flighted to Charleston, just kind of be ready, like, watch. So, alarming.
So then that sends you like...
Right, like that's terrifying. Right, so... we tried not to think about it, just went on like everything was normal. Didn't think much about it. They kept doing the ultrasounds. Everything was fine. Heartbeat was still strong. Everything was good. He was born on January 27th, 2014. And looked just like Braden, but he didn't have hair. Braden had a head full of hair. Maddox was bald. He wouldn't open his mouth to cry after he was born. He kept his lips pursed and was like making sounds, but not like crying. And all the doctors and nurses kind of commented on it, didn't they? They were like, oh, look, he's not opening his mouth to cry. Like, you know, never really said nothing.
Almost like a positive thing. Like,
odd. Yeah, looking back on it now, it's kind of like, how often do you have a baby that won't open their mouth to cry? Like, you know, something's not right. And so he couldn't nurse. He couldn't get a suction, tried to bottle feed. He was choking. Like, he could not, he was just choking. And so I remember one nurse coming in and she said, let me try. And she took him. She was kind of hateful. And he started gagging and spitting all over her. And she said, she gave him back to me. And she said, well, he just needs to learn to suck, swallow, breathe. His reflexes are not down. And they sent us home. We had him on a Monday. Wednesday, we went home from the hospital. And I kept thinking, like, you know, because I had Braden, like I had an older child.
You're right.
Like, I'm not a first-time mama. Like, I kind of knew what to expect, what to look for. And I remember we took him back to the doctor. We went home on Wednesday, took him back to the doctor on Friday. And Braden, slam excited, you know, so proud of his baby brother. He wanted to go, so we took him, all four of us went to the doctor. And Dr. Mahaffey is our pediatrician. She said, Dad, I'm going to need you to take big brother outside. And I remember that feeling, like I can't explain to you that feeling. And he knew, and he's trying to be happy for Braden, you know, and like, oh, this is normal. And Dr. Mahaffey put a glove on, and she took her pinky finger and she stuck it all the way back in his throat. And he didn't have a uvula. And she said, I want you to sit down. And I remember her saying, if he don't eat so many ounces by tonight, he was failure to thrive because he had lost. He was born 7 pounds, 10 ounces. He had lost down to like 6 pounds. Like he had lost, I mean, within that.
much.
Yeah, like he wasn't eating. He couldn't get anything down. Every time he tried to feed him, he would choke. And so, anyway, long story short, she said, if he don't eat so many ounces by tonight, I want you to take him to the hospital. We're going to admit him for failure to thrive. And put a feeding tube in. Of course, he didn't eat, ended up taking him to the hospital, and she ordered the blood work while we were there. And this is how the Lord works. As rare as Maddox's syndrome is, her son has the exact same thing.
really?
My pediatrician's son has the exact same syndrome that Maddox has. So she started calling. She called in.
She knew.
She called ENT in Charleston that she graduated medical school with as a favor. He's the head honcho in Charleston, the head of oral maxillofacial, ENT, VPI clinic, craniofacial clinic.
Yeah.
Like, he's big dog. He don't do ear tubes. He does all of Maddox's ear tubes. Like, he is like, does it as a personal favor for Dr.
Yeah.
Mahaffey. So she started making connections for us.
Wow.
But
And that's the Lord just working that out.
yes.
For you.
So Maddox's syndrome is DeGeorge syndrome, and we've since learned that DeGeorge, velocardiofacial syndrome, 22q11.2 deletion syndrome, they're all the same syndrome. It's all missing the 22nd arm of his 22q11.2 arm of his DNA code. And so me and Shane had to get tested. We had to do blood work to see if it was genetic, like if it was something, and it was not. Like, it's a total, I don't say fluke, but
It's just rare.
he is fearfully and wonderfully made, the way the Lord wanted him to be made.
Yeah. So, fast forward, he's been through so much.
Oh yeah. They told us that he would not live past 2 years old. He had no thymus tissue. They started to touch back on his cardiac, his heart defect. He had a right-sided aortic arch and a vascular ring, 2 VSDs, which are the small holes in his heart. And so that's why in utero they couldn't get the aorta. It was backwards. Like, it was backwards. Oh. He had open heart surgery. He was slated to have open heart surgery. And so we started doing all these tests. Like, they started doing all the blood work, all the chest CT, and we discovered that he had no thymus tissue. Mm-hmm. During this time, his stomach quit working. He had gastroparesis.
Oh.
He would throw up like 20 times a day. Like when I say literally, wasn't it? I mean, like everything he would eat, he would just like, and it wasn't like throwing up, but I mean, it was like everywhere.
Yeah.
Every time you looked at him, he was throwing up like a little puddle. He couldn't, his stomach wouldn't digest. His stomach was paralyzed. So he would eat, it would sit there for a minute, then he'd pick it back up. So that was, you know, and they talked about putting feeding tube in. Like that was always in the back of my mind, was trying to keep him off of a feeding tube. And when he was a baby, I finally started feeding him through a syringe and dribbling a little bit in his cheek and then rolling him back and letting it roll down his throat. I mean, like a milliliter at a time. Yeah. It's like it took hours to feed him. And by the time he'd get to eating, it would be time to feed him again. Like it was hard. His whole first year of life was hard. But the heart surgery, they discovered he had no thymus tissue. And so the geneticist was like, they called me and said, take him to Prisma right now. FedEx is going to meet you there. The lab's waiting on you. We're going to draw 13 vials of blood. We're going to overnight it to Duke University for a thymus transplant study. And he may need a thymus transplant because his T cells, until you turn between 2 and 4, your bone marrow takes over your immune system. So before that, your thymus is what makes your immune system.
Right.
They told us we wasn't going to be able to touch him. We couldn't hold him. A cold could kill him because he had no immune system.
Yeah.
So I called Shane. Like I took him straight to the hospital. I remember handing that stuff to like FedEx, like signing all this paper. They left, took it straight to Duke. The doctor called the next day and she said, this kid is not a candidate for a study. She said he has more T cells than a normal child. And so me and Shane are like, answered a prayer. Like he started getting everybody to pray, like Lord's answered prayer. The geneticist was like, no, you don't understand. He has to have thymus tissue to have T cells. They said it's not possible for him to have T cells without thymus tissue. They said even though it's not where it's supposed to be, he has a free floating thymus. It's somewhere floating in his chest cavity. And
Which
so
sounds kind of scary.
Right. So like, okay.
Like how big is thymus?
You know, whatever. Like, okay, you know.
Not really an answer, but an answer.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, so when he had his open heart surgery, they took him to Charleston. Dr. Malpass called me like on a Friday and said, are you sitting down? And I was like, do I need to be sitting down? And he said,
why does everybody keep asking me that?
I know. Like, do I need to just stay sitting? He said, Maddox needs open heart surgery and they're going to do it Wednesday. Wow. This was on Friday. Apple cart. We've already talked about. I don't like to have my apple cart flipped upside down. So, and we had a child. We already had Braden. We had to figure out what to do. Like, I mean, like it was like a whirlwind. Yes. So took him down. They do all kinds of testing. They have several tests that they have to do before you have open heart surgery, especially a child, pediatric, that they can't do on the same day. So we started with testing on Monday, testing Tuesday. Surgery was like at 6 o'clock Wednesday morning, 9.5 hours. And they ended up cutting him at his collarbones and had to cut him 3 inches higher because his aorta was tangled around his Adam's apple. They severed his aorta in 2 places, packed him on ice, chilled his blood. He was on ECMO, heart-lung bypass, like all the medical things. And I literally look back at that, 9.5 hours, I cannot remember. Can you? Like the trauma, like how the Lord, like the grace, and I know people say that, but like you literally looking back on it, I can't remember.
Sitting in a pediatric waiting room with
for the
Noah's Ark.
PCICU.
You know, murals is just amazing.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there and some of the doctors would come out and talk to different families.
Yeah.
Some of the families would lose it, you know, like they're getting bad news. And we were like, oh my goodness, what are we doing?
Yeah.
It was hard.
And so that went on. Like his surgery, they give us a little beeper, a little pager for progress.
Yeah.
Every 45 minutes, they said they would give an update. And they'd give an update. Maddox is stable. Maddox is doing good. Halfway there.
But they didn't tell us
how old was he at that time?
15 months.
Wow.
15 months old.
Okay.
It's literally an all-day ordeal. All-day surgery.
And so we went back to see him after surgery. Well, the doctor came out and talked to us, and the doctor said, first thing, like he's, I think he's Indian. Minu Kavarana is his name, Dr. K.
Yeah.
And he said, first things, this child is athymatic. He said there's 0 thymus tissue in his chest cavity. So MUSC starts running all the tests. They did all the blood work because he's had major surgery.
Yeah.
Like if he got an infection, you know, if he doesn't have T cells, they start doing all the testing. Come back perfectly good. More T cells. then
Then you know what to do with.
and the doctor's like, you don't understand. I said, no, you don't understand. Like
You
he got T cells. He got them cross cells.
That's exactly right.
He's got more than T cells. So anyway, ended up like they still cannot give us an answer.
Yeah.
Like they still think he should not be alive.
So how many years ago was that for Maddox? Madman?
That would have been April of 2015.
10.
10?
Yep.
So through the 10 years, you know, you were told he's not going to make it to 2. You're at 10 years.
Yeah.
That's the Lord.
12. He's 12 now.
12.
He just
Or
turned 12.
Okay.
We're getting old.
12. And he's played sports. He's
yeah.
gone, like he goes hunting,
Told
he
us
goes
he wouldn't
fishing.
walk or talk. He plays baseball.
Yeah.
He
and
talks.
Talks.
Yep. We did sign language. I learned sign language because they told us he wouldn't speak, that we would have to learn.
And he didn't speak.
He didn't until he was like almost 4. This is a funny story, but we did sign language. We'd sign juice, milk, more, please, thank you. We did all like major words. We didn't talk in sentences. Mama, daddy. So he would run to the refrigerator and he'd grunt and he'd do juice or milk
Yeah.
or water. Like, you know, we would do signs for all done, finished. He still will argue with me during church. Like if I tell him something, he'll lean up and do no. And I'll go like, yes. Like he says no and I say yes. So he still will argue with me in sign language.
Were you pastoring at that time?
Yeah.
Yeah, Braden.
Yeah.
When I got here, Braden was 10 months old.
We came here in 2011, October 2011, and they voted him in as pastor in
May of 12.
of 2012.
And y'all had
Maddox was born in 2014.
So you were trying to pastor a church and work through this part of your life that you were in.
Yeah.
Was there a time that the Lord just kind of just let you know, like, I got you, I have this?
He made it where I had to depend on him. I think my lessons were more, because I'm so bad to take it to the Lord and then be like, I know you're busy, like you don't really need to worry about that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'll take it back.
I'll
and
pick it
I'll
back
keep
up.
worrying about
Yeah,
this. Like that, you know, like I'm so bad about. So when they tell you like your child has nothing, I can't do anything for that.
Yeah.
Like I cannot fix this. Like it literally all depends on the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
What were you gonna say?
I don't remember.
Sorry.
Well, I mean, just like, I know through all of that, I know just hearing just a few things about it that the Lord's done for y'all. Like, he showed up and
Oh yeah.
not just like, oh, he showed up here and worked this out, but we're talking like miraculous T cells
Yeah.
and things
Oh,
that
yeah.
just are abnormal that only he could do. Was there just a day that you were like, okay, Lord, I know you got this, or he showed you in some special way that you could lean on him in everything that came up, you know?
I had to come to the point too where I realized that, and this is, people won't understand this unless you have a special needs child. I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah.
Like and I heard some lady speak at a ladies' meeting one time, and she said, if you come to me and said, do you want breast cancer? No, like, of course not. If you come to me and said, do you want a child with special needs? No, like nobody wants their child to struggle. Like
Yeah.
nobody, and he struggles. Like he has his share of struggles. But if you come to me and said, do you want to know the Lord on a deeper level than you ever could otherwise? Do you want a relationship with the Lord that you can only get through walking through these trials? Yes. The answer is yes, 1,000 times yes, unequivocally yes. And so I feel like the Lord takes us through these places. He who drinks deepest of sorrow drinks deepest too of grace.
Yeah.
He sends the storm that he alone can be our hiding place. And the Lord has to bring us to that. There's a poem that's one of my, it's in my Bible. Like I have it taped in the cover of my Bible. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
absolutely.
He's just bringing you through. Looking back, I mean, then y'all had Cole.
Surprise. Surprise. You may not have
Cole.
children. Surprise.
Yeah.
Cole was a surprise. We were done after Maddox because he had so many struggles. We had such struggles to even have the 2 children that we had.
Yeah.
We thought we were done.
And was Cole completely not a single problem?
Completely not a single problem. They sent me to maternal fetal medicine to monitor because of everything Maddox had been through.
history.
Even though Shane and I did the fish ray test, which I don't know. I know y'all don't know a lot about that, but like we had to give 6 or 7 vials of blood. They do all the genetic testing to see if we were carriers. And we wasn't. But they still monitored my pregnancy and everything with Cole very closely. And he...
No complications.
Such a surprise, but what it did, the Lord knew what we needed even when we didn't.
He was almost self-sufficient, wasn't he?
It literally...
Probably felt that way after.
Well, the first baby, you know, with your first one, you panic.
Figuring it out.
First one, you panic. You're like, whoa, I am not responsible enough for this.
Yeah.
You kind of panic. The second one, like you feel like you, and then Maddox threw us for a whirlwind.
Yeah.
I got to really enjoy Cole. Like I got to really enjoy the 2 a.m. feedings. And I know that sounds crazy, but the normalcy, normal days. Like the mundane, the normal, it really taught me to appreciate ordinary.
Yeah.
And normal, you know.
Love that.
That's awesome. And so looking back at y'all's life, where you are now, you know, your family mode, y'all are super busy. Preacher, you're preaching all over. You know, looking back at that Shane Ezell of, 2006 and looking back at Ashley of, 2000 and, you said 8? Was it 8?
2005.
2005.
I got saved.
Okay, so
He was called to preach in 2008.
Gotcha. So 2005, 2006. Looking back at them, what would you say to them now? What would you? What would you?
Trust the Lord. Buckle up. Buckle up.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. If I knew then what I know now, I probably would have went and hid in the closet and never come out because you couldn't understand.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you told me then everything I was going to go through to now.
But it was Paul, was it Ananias that come to Paul and said, I'm going to show you what things that you're going to have to suffer. And Paul was glad to do it. You know, it's amazing. It's just amazing that what all you have to go through. But the thing is the world goes through things too. We just have somebody to go through it with us. And it's actually turns out to be a wonderful thing.
Yeah, the Christian life is not absent trials.
No.
Right. Just when you give your life to Christ, the Lord don't say it's going to be smooth sailing. All your children are going to be perfectly healthy, Shane. You're never going to have a struggle. Like you're never going to have to watch your son struggle to live.
But it's not. But He gives you so much more to keep going forward for.
And I'll tell you this, and this is not. But one day I was having a pity party about Maddox, and I was just, but like Shane says, we have a pity party and we invite one person, us. And I was like, throwing my tantrum. And I said, Lord, you don't understand. Like, how could you understand, like, my mother's heart and watching my son suffer? And I mean, it was as clear as we're sitting here talking right now. The Lord spoke to my heart and said, I hadn't asked you to nail him to a cross. And I remember thinking, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for feeling, for my human emotions and feeling that way. But I feel like through that, the Lord does understand. Like He knows more than He knows way worse than I would ever know. Know.
And that's the sad thing, I think, that just really puts it into perspective for you, is that the Lord loves us so much, and He loves the world so much. He doesn't want them to go through all of those things by themselves. Right. They choose it.
He's there if you'll just turn to Him.
And I don't want to make it out like we suffer.
Right.
No,
that sounded like we suffer. We don't. The Lord gives so much grace through all this stuff that you almost feel guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it overflows you with grace, and so, we look back at it now and it's a blur, sort of. We can't really recall a lot of the details because there was so much grace when we was going through it.
Right. And with Maddox, it's very much a wait and see. Like he could have up to 184 things wrong with him. He's had 3 cleft palate surgeries. He's had neurosurgery. He's had spine surgeries, kidneys. He's had the foot surgery. It seems like there's always something. Like now it's his thyroid. He was just diagnosed with Hashimoto's disease, so trying to get his thyroid medication worked out.
Was it his heart surgery? Was it on Easter?
Yes.
Around Easter?
Yep, we were
April 2nd. And then Trey,
drove
who
down.
I was talking about, helped me get saved. They witnessed to me and stuff. He drove me down. I come back for that Sunday to preach on Easter, and Trey drove me back down to Charleston Sunday night after church, and then he drove back home.
He took Braden to church. Like he come home and tried to give Braden a normal Easter, and me and my mom and Maddox stayed in Charleston. My mother-in-law,
Yeah,
my
no,
father-in-law
yeah.
was there too. Papa T and Gary.
Yeah.
What would you say about the faithfulness of the Lord for someone listening that maybe they have a child that's having some issues, or maybe they have a loved one that's lost and out in sin and in the world, and they're eat up with it and they're just trying to call them to Christ, even call to them. But what would you say to them about the Lord's faithfulness and just encouragement to them to keep going?
He's never made a mistake, and he's not going to start. You know?
I would say he's better. He's better. He's better than any plan that I had. He's better than anything I thought I wanted. His ways are better.
Yeah.
And once you get a hold of that, submission just falls naturally in line because he's better.
Y'all have a powerful testimony. Thank you.
I don't feel like it is. I feel like it is so.
Well,
I feel like I
is.
don't tell it or give it justice to what the Lord's done.
It's probably hard to put into perspective and even words the emotion behind the event. You can relay an event, but to put the emotion behind that event is hard.
well, you can't fit 12 years into an hour.
No.
No, and the thing
Either.
is I left out tons of details, and you left out tons of details, as far as testimony stuff, and then as far as Maddox, like you could have told.
Oh, Lord.
No, yeah. Yep. Well, I love y'all. And I appreciate y'all sitting with us, sharing. And I know that there's somebody out there that the Lord's lined all this up and praying it'll help them. We'll be praying for y'all's ministry too.
Thank you.
What is your biggest takeaway that you would say from this interview, this Testimony Tribe episode?
You said it. I liked what you said the other day when we were talking about it, about it being so different than what we've done or had.
I think what makes this episode so unique is in the past it's been very, it's always conversational. Usually we get the chance to ask a lot of questions and it's very informative. And with this one, the layout is just very different. It was very much them telling their life story. And it just had a different feel. And not that that was bad. It was good. I think it was just different. But there wasn't necessarily, there was a lot to glean from it. But it was very much in just a storytelling setting. And I thought it was, it was I told Caitlin, it was one of those things where like questions came to my mind, like, ooh, I would love to ask that. I would love to. But it was just the story was so engaging and that you didn't even want to interrupt to ask questions. So in this episode, you don't hear much out of me and Caitlin, which is a rare moment. So we're glad we got that on video.
Yeah.
But their story was just very captivating and powerful.
Well, and they worked so well together.
Yeah,
like
they did.
And they were in unison. Like the Lord worked it out where they were synced up to, they kind of bounced off of each other and it flowed really. And that's one thing that he said afterwards was, the preacher was like, man, I was surprised at how it flowed.
Yeah.
And, Ashley, she was super nervous. Like even texted me the night before and was like, I don't know why I said yes to them. I was so nervous. But you could just tell, I felt like the Lord had kind of calmed her and helped her just, there were so many nuggets of truth that she shared. And it's so funny because they're like I don't want to use yin and yang, but they're like two opposite ends of the spectrum. And so the viewpoints are from different perspectives. And so you get to see that and how the Lord arranged it all and worked it all for good.
Yeah.
And, she shares, then they even said there was so much that they didn't get
little details
that they forgot to share or didn't even get to share in the moment. But I feel like the Lord, and that's kind of what we told them. We love doing podcasts like this because we go in with questions. It's like Danae said, we go in with a plan and we try to be prepared and so that it's the best that it could be. But the Lord redirects things a lot of the times, Mac, like you go in and you're like, okay, this is kind of what we're going to do.
Right.
None of that happened.
Yeah.
This, and so, but it was great because it just like there was just a conversation and they got to share their testimony. And I think it was mentioned later, it's hard to like condense 19 years of your life and all that the Lord's done for you and all these special moments of your life into 1 hour or an hour and a half.
Well, and essentially 2 different testimonies.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
So I told him we might need to do a volume 2.
Oh, okay. I like it.
But yeah, it's just so amazing to hear what the Lord's done for them and to see like there's been so many blessings that he has weaved through the hard times. You know, it's definitely a beautiful tapestry, if you will.
Yeah.
That a quilt that he's made of their life, and I was so grateful that they came aboard and were willing to share that with others.
Yeah.
That's good.
One of my favorite preachers. I love to hear him preach. I love to hear how he studies the word and the way the Lord allows him to do that. And so really, really excited to have them.
Yeah.
I'm just a nobody from Chesney. Never had anything much. And God said, wilt thou go with this man? The Holy Ghost of God come by my pew and said, wilt thou go with this man? And I didn't even know what I was even saying yes to. Still finding out some stuff that I said yes to. I'm telling you, God, woo, he's more than they said he was. He's better than they said he was. The preachers tried to do their best. They tried to tell me what he was, but he's better than they said he was. Yeah. He's way more than that. My goodness, he give. I don't mean to preach 6 different messages, but Isaac, on the way to see Isaac, the closer he got to Isaac, the more Rebecca covered up. That servant, he'd give her earbobs that go in her ears. He'd give her bracelets. I'm telling you, hey, some mornings you get up, and God, just for no reason, will give you a new piece of jewelry, just for being you. Ain't that good? He daily loadeth us with benefit. Every morning at my house, if you could look into the spiritual realm, there's a UPS truck pulls up at my house every morning, and it offloads mercy, and it offloads grace, and it offloads favor, and it offloads goodness, and it offloads everything I'm going to need for that day.